And then the issue of Harvard, and let's talk about that because obviously
Yes.
the president spoke about it and he said Harvard is getting their ass kicked. I mean, that was his quote. What about that and all the issues surrounding Harvard?
Yeah, Harvard's an even a much easier case. Harvard's been violating the Civil Rights Act left and right. Uh, they thought they were allowed to engage in racial discrimination in their and as somebody who takes in a lot of government money. No, no, you can't. You can't do that.
Mhm.
Actually, we settled this in a Supreme Court case a long time ago. Bob Jones University said they had religious reasons for wanting to discriminate on the basis of race, and the Supreme Court said no, and that the government could take away your funding. And Bob Jones changed. So the idea that Harvard would suddenly turn around and think that they get to discriminate against white people and keep their money, no, no, you don't. It's really interesting to see them take this really oppositional tack towards the administration because it's extremely unwise. There was a very good uh, interview that Bill Ackman did that I saw clips of on X, and he made the point that Harvard has this $52 billion endowment, but their finances are actually a lot more fragile than you'd think because they have $8 billion in debt, and so much of that endowment is in illiquid private equity investments that would get marked down by 40% if they tried to sell them. So they're working really hard to borrow money and to meet their liquidity needs. The problem is then when donors know that if they donate money to Harvard and that just goes right out the door in interest payments on the debt, they stop donating because donors want to see programs. They want to see an outcome as a result of their donation. If they can't see that, the donations will dry up really badly. So Harvard's financial position, I think, is a lot weaker than people realize. And the legal question is really straightforward here. No, Harvard and their admissions policies and the poor way they've handled anti-Semitism on campus, they violated the civil rights laws of our country in any number of different ways. And those are a condition precedent, or sorry, a condition to gaining any government funding.
I think it's also from a political perspective at this moment where you've got the New York Times coming out with this piece about how Democrats have just completely lost men, in particular working men, and trying to come up with this coded language where they can figure out how to speak to them. This program, this SAM program, and it's like Trump is the populist who always appeals to the workers and the working class, battling Harvard, a school that literally nobody in the Trump coalition probably went to. I mean, there's always exceptions, obviously, but of the blue collar working class people in this country, there could not be more of a dichotomy between Harvard and the elites, and then the people that supported Donald Trump. So, I mean, politically here, it's very hard for people to find sympathy for Harvard who are not already just the Democrat donors and the members of the faculty lounge, right?
Exactly right. And I'll say this too. I'm hearing from people who are Trump supporters but went to Harvard. They want to see Harvard hurt too. They don't have any love for their alma mater anymore, right? They went through it. I think that's certainly true of me. Like I went to Georgetown Law. I see what they're doing at the law school, and if the law school was targeted with this sort of attack by Trump, I'd be like, yes, bring it on.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll force them into force new management on the institution, or if they won't behave, then whatever. Oh well, I guess I'll be one of the last alums of Georgetown Law School. That'd be fine. I wouldn't care. So I think that's the idea. And you're absolutely right that there is no constituency among half the country, among Republican voters for Harvard. No one cares. And I think it fits into a broader theme of where a lot of big institutions have made a big miscalculation. They thought, oh, this MAGA movement, it's not really that powerful. It's like, well, no, actually, it's the most powerful political movement in the country. And the idea that you could treat, Republican working class voters like dirt. You could say that, oh, we don't really think your kids should be coming to our school. Oh, we don't think you should be employed. They would say all these things and then wonder why the administration has them targeted. Really? Is it
Hmm.
surprising?
Yeah.